Welcome back to Steady Rolling Man Presents Master Nyarlathotep Actual Play Podcast as we hunt for answers. We feel certain that those answers are inside the JuJu House, so 3 of our brave investigators go in. Let's pick up the action with a very cold Lex sitting outside waiting.
Lex, sitting in the dark in Jacob's Chevrolet Capital, could barely see his watch. The moon was a waning crescent, and although West 137th Street was lit, he had intentionally parked away from the nearest functioning gas lamp, made easier by the fact that the lamp which stood at the head of the alleyway leading to JuJu House was out. 11:30. It wasn't getting any warmer. The young Canadian was used to the cold, but couldn't help thinking as he watched his breath fogging in front of his face that he'd do anything right now to swap the Colt 1911 he was holding for a stick. Cold was more fun on the ice. Every now and then, a car rumbled past. Cabs mainly, taking their fares to and from the jazz clubs, saloons and speakeasies that proliferated this part of town. Now and then, small groups of mainly African-American men and women passed. Some hurried by, dressed against the cold. Others sauntered, whistling and singing, seemingly oblivious to the bite of winter, with bootleg liquor as their trusted companion. It occurred to Lex that nobody in Harlem was abroad alone after dark. The criminal gangs, racial enmity, and fear of police brutality he'd heard about obviously saw to that. And yet people from all over the US flocked here to experience the Harlem Renaissance of art, literature, culture, and most famously music. It was an odd thing. Shifting in the car seat, Lex winced with pain as the machete wound in his side reminded him why he had been the one to wait behind. He didn't like it. He was a man of action after all, but he also wasn't dumb. Play injured and you'll play less, old Coach Flanagan at the Wanderers used to say. And for the first time he could remember, Lex, moving gingerly to a more comfortable position in the front seat, was inclined to agree with him. Okay, meanwhile, Stanton, Douglas, and I can't even remember your name. Jacob. You had made it inside the pawn shop, which is next door to JuJu House, and you had sifted around inside where you'd seen lots of pieces of furniture, crates, etc. Just evidence of the previous occupants, and also some rodent activity. But other than that, you had found nothing so far. I think you had decided that you were going to try and go upstairs, from what I remember. And I think we finished where we left the last session was where you were just about to give... I think Stanton was going to give somebody a bunk up to try and get up into the...
Jacob was going into the loft.
Yeah.
So just to remind me,
found a trapdoor.
Had we unlocked the other door in terms of an escape route before we...
No, you hadn't. No.
Is it worth just trying? Is it worth us just trying that?
Yeah.
Because it's two routes out rather than one. I'll try the front, or have a look at the lock on the front door.
Very quietly, just in case there's anybody on the other side.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you did say that you're moving around very quietly. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there is the front door is locked and bolted from the inside. There doesn't seem to be any sign of any key. So did you want to see whether you can try and open it?
I do, yeah.
Okie doke. Do you want to make a locksmith roll then?
I'll keep an eye on the back door or move towards the back. Keep a look out.
So it might help if I have my character sheet open. I think that's a yes. Just
okay. That's a normal success, is it?
Normal, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, after a bit of work, the lock is a little bit rusted, as you'd expect. But after a bit of work, yeah, you're able to, with minimal sound and resistance, you're able to open the lock. So the front door, and you obviously have to pull the bolt back across as well.
I think I might just I'll just make sure the bolt works easily. But I'll put the bolt back on so it's bolted. We can.
Again, the bolt gives you a little bit of resistance to start with because it is quite rusted, but it's you move it fairly easily with minimal noise.
So nobody can get in, but we can get out quickly just by moving the bolt back.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Do you want to give me a bit, and I'll try and go through the roof void.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the plan.
That is the plan.
Okay.
You can do it, Stanton. Who's stronger? Not that it really. Who looks better built?
Well, between Stanton and you,
Yeah.
you'd say there's very little in it.
Mm.
Very little indeed.
Perhaps we should both try, try together.
Yeah, just give them a bunk up then. Yeah.
Or maybe even
each.
pyramid.
Yeah, it's easy enough. It's not that high, so you can
Yeah.
you've got some. You give them a bunk up. What you can do is just push the loft hatch open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite a wide hatch. You push it open, and obviously you can. It's cold. It's even colder than it is below. Have you got a torch?
Yeah, I have. I'll climb up and have a look around with the torch.
Okay. Are you going to climb up in there first? Are you? Yeah. Okay.
I yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You pull yourself with the aid of the other two. You manage to pull yourself up into the loft. You swing the torch around. You see that the loft appears to be empty, save for some pieces of broken furniture and crates. Birds' nests made from dried mud on the walls. You do notice, though, you notice that the party wall, although it's sand and brick, there does seem to be some light coming through it. You kind of glance up from your position, you can see that there's a hole in the party wall between this old pawnbroker's and the JuJu House. I guess it's probably just above head height, maybe. Yeah, there seems to be like maybe some bricks out or something, but there's a faint glimmer of light that's coming through that hole.
And this is in the roof void itself, the hole.
In the attic, where you'd have like the dividing wall between the attic. Yeah. Like it's the party wall. It's there's obviously been either it's been built with a hole there maybe for ventilation, or some of the bricks have fallen out. You're not sure, but there's certainly some light coming through from the other side.
I'm just going to poke my head down through the hatch and just say to the others, I can see a hole through to next door. I'm just going to have a quick look before we go any further. So I'll then stealthily crawl or creep across the attic floor to the hole, and I'm going to peer in, but without using the torch to begin with.
Okay, so you've turned the torch out, yeah?
I'll use the torch to get across, to make it a bit easier. I'm not going to shine the torch through the hole.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay. And the other two, you're staying down.
Yeah, just gonna wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll move to the back door again that we came through that leads onto the alleyway, and just stand on watch there.
Are you actually opening the back door? Are you?
No, I'm not going to open it, but I'm going to.
Oh, okay. You're just going to stand by it. Yeah. Okay.
And I guess is there a window into that alley? I don't quite remember. If it is it boarded up?
No, because the alleyway ends in a courtyard, but they're boarded up anyway. Yeah.
So I'll just stand and listen.
Fine. So Jacob, you cross the attic.
I'm being careful. I don't want to put a foot through. So I'm sort of testing each step as I go.
Okay. Okay. You avoid any of the obstacles. The flooring seems pretty sound, which is good. And below, you can't really hear any significant sounds coming from the attic when Jacob's moving. So you assume that he's moving fairly slowly. You avoid any issues. You get across to the party wall. You can see there's a hole the size of one brick, which is just above head height. So it's about 6.5 feet up, and that's where the light's coming from.
I think that's
obviously
that's
with it being
above my height. Is there anything I can just a box or something I can stand on?
Yeah, there is some bits of furniture, but some. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of chairs actually that, even though the backs are broken on them, the legs themselves look quite sturdy. So you try your weight on them, just like that, by pushing down on them. They're you reckon you could stand on one of those? It's effectively a stool because the back's broken off.
Well, I'll just use that to get a bit of extra height so I can look through the hole.
Okay.
Is there much light coming through to suggest it's quite brightly lit in the other?
No,
on the other side.
it's dim light, and it's you guess it's difficult to say, but it's no. The answer to your question is no. It's not electric light. You don't think?
Yeah.
You think it might be a lamp of some description, or maybe candles, but certainly not particularly light. Okay, just before I tell you what you see in that room, so I want Andy, Simon, and Adam, if you could just jump off the call for a few seconds. I just need to speak to Dave individually. Okay.
Okay.
What's the easiest way for me to message you to come back? Shall I message the
Roll 20, maybe?
Roll20? Okay, everybody keep an eye on the Roll20 feed then. Yeah, on the messages there.
Okay.
And I'll ask you to come back when we're finished.
10 minutes.
Okay, cool. Lex, can I ask you to make a spot hidden roll, please?
Yes.
What'd you get?
I did not succeed.
Okay, you've been in. It's approaching. It's coming towards 12 o'clock now, so it's about 11:45. And obviously you've been in the car a fair amount of time now. You're trying to stay as vigilant and as awake as you can, but it's not easy. Suddenly, you're aware of a man standing at the head of the alleyway that leads down to JuJu House. One minute there's nobody there. The next minute he's there, and you see that he's standing, looking. Seems to be looking directly across the road in your direction. What are you gonna do?
Make sure my gun is cocked and do nothing else.
Okay.
Wait. Keep my eye on him.
Okay. He looks to be a tall, muscular African American man. He's not wearing a hat or anything, which is unusual because it's so cold. So he's got a shaven head, and he's also wearing a long trench coat and what looks to be a long stripy scarf. Can you make an intelligence roll, please?
I have got a hard success.
Hard success. Okay.
A hard success, yeah.
That's good. Okay. So as soon as you only catch a glimpse of his face because the light's not very good. He turns in a certain direction, so that one of the street lamps and actually a car goes past just as he's looking across the road at you, and the car headlights sort of flash across his face to give you a good view of him, and you suddenly you think straight away that you recognise him, and you realise that he is somebody that you saw at Emerson Imports, somebody who was working there, who came out of the door when Douglas and Jacob went upstairs.
Okay.
He stays there for about another 10 seconds, maybe, staring in your direction. You can feel your heart beating in your chest, hand on your gun. And then he turns slowly and walks down the alleyway towards JuJu House.
Okay.
Okay. Are you just going to stay there?
No, I think I'm going to have to get out of the car. I need to try to get to the head of the alleyway and see if he's going to head into JuJu House.
Okay. You get out of the car. Right. You're on the other side of the road at the moment, so you're going to cross over the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Maybe a second. Okay. So your plan is to go across the road, and then you want to be able to see whether he's going into JuJu House. But I presume you're trying to stay hidden.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But you know what's coming next then, don't you?
Yeah, me failing a roll of some sort.
Okay. Well, can you make a stealth roll?
Oh. I did fail it. It was very close, but
Okay.
I did fail it.
Failed it. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
I was excited for a split second, but
you're not sure whether he's noticed you or not. He does. You see him glance back over his shoulder. We don't get right to the head of the alley, but you get as close as you need to be able to see him. You can see him leaving the alleyway and crossing, because the door is actually pretty much is still visible from the alleyway. You can see he's heading directly towards the door of JuJu House, but then, because it's quite dark, he kind of fades into the darkness. There's not really anywhere else for him to go down here. He's got the only options he's got is going into the JuJu House or going into the pawn shop, or it's a dead end courtyard, so there's nowhere else to go. What are you going to do?
I can't really warn them. I can't really chase him down and stop him. I'm gonna have to go back to the car, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to go back to the car.
Okay.
Man, that sucks.
Can you make another spot hidden roll for me as you cross back across the road to the car?
Oh. I've not succeeded this time.
You haven't.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so you're gonna go and sit back in the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Right, let's get them back.
Hello.
Hello.
So
I can get my orientation correct. Hey, Adam's looking out or standing by the
He's
door
standing by the door.
to West 138th Street.
No, I think he said the door that you came in through, the back door.
Yeah, to the alleyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
Courtyard.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm waiting underneath the
Yeah, the
hole.
the hole is probably about where the P is on the abandoned pawn shop.
Okay.
Okay, and
I can see Stanton from here, from where I'm stood, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing. The room it's all just one room.
Okay.
The pawn shop is. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. So Jacob, you pull the chair up and be able to stand on it to afford you the height to be able to look through the hole. Okay.
Yeah.
All as quietly as possible.
Yeah.
You stand on the chair, and you said you're not shining your torch through, are you?
No, not until I have a look through him first.
Okay, you look through the hole and you can see what is a room beyond. It's in the centre of the room is a table and 6 chairs. You can see a lit oil lamp on the table. There's a candelabra next to it, and also something else on the table that you can't really make. Some other objects that you can't make out because it's quite a small area to look through. Glancing around the room, you can see the shadowy light reveals a handful of African artifacts and fetishes on the walls, including 3 wicked-looking hanga, or heavy machete-type blades that are identical to the ones that the cultists were carrying when they attacked you. You can see an open hatch which leads down to the space below. Can you make a spot hidden roll as well, please?
Yeah. That's an extreme success.
Oh, okay. Well, your keen eyes glancing around the room, you focus in on the objects that are on the table that you couldn't originally quite make out. Just bear with me a second. One of the objects is a green glass bottle with what look to be some kind of small leather cups. And there's also the one that draws your attention is a large open tome in the centre of the table. When I say large, it is pretty big, and it looks it's not your average book. It's a big old tome is the right word for it.
I'll be worried when you use the word tome instead of book.
Also, again, glancing around the room, you notice behind the chair, one of the chairs at the head of the table, hanging on the wall, is a hideous headdress with a dangling red, kind of a adornment that looks very similar to hideous headdresses that you have seen when Elias was attacked. Lastly, you see an old moth-eaten Kenyan flag on one wall.
No one occupying the room.
Not presently. So the lamp is lit. The candelabra isn't lit yet, but there's you guess it must be a ladder leading down from because the hatch is open. You can see a bit of light beyond, but there isn't anybody in this room at the moment.
And I can't get through there. It's just literally
It's one
Is it
brick.
I'm looking
Yeah,
through?
it's one brick.
Yeah.
And it's not because the wall has collapsed or is crumbling in any way or is ill maintained. It's just because it was obviously the way that it's built. It looks like it's a ventilation.
I'm just going to put my ear to the hole in the wall and just have a really good in case I can hear anything at all from the other side.
Okay. No, you can't. All you can hear is the occasional bit of distant traffic outside and the wind rattling the window panes, but no, you can't hear anything other than that. Speaking of hearing things, Stanton, can I get you to make a listen roll for me, please?
Yep. Certainly give it a go. Oh, carrying on from last week.
Is that a fail, does it?
Yeah.
Okay. When you just to make it easier for me, when you roll, can you just tell me whether it's a hard success and fail or whatever it is?
Yes, sure.
So it's just a fail, was it?
Yeah, that's a fail.
Okay, fine. Jacob, what are you doing?
Stealthily climb down from the chair and slowly make my way back across the attic to the hatch.
Okay.
And then
Douglas, you see Jacob's flashlight coming back across, and you see him back at the hatch, just kind of standing, looking down at you.
And then I'm going to poke my head down through the hatch so that Sam doesn't have to travel too far, and tell Douglas and Stanton what I've seen. And I'm wondering, gentlemen, whether I should wait, see what happens. It looks like it's a room that might be used fairly frequently. There's a lamp lit already. It's possible
if we can
wait.
If we can find out what we need to know without even going in there and causing a confrontation, then I think that's a very good idea. Just if you wait up there and listen, and we'll stay quiet down here, we might not need to go in.
As you're talking, you hear a knocking sound. It sounds like a knock on a door, but it's not on. It's not on the door to this room. To this, it's next door.
Okay. All lights off. I'll indicate to Jacob to go back to the wall, and we'll just stay quiet.
I'll flash it 3 times if there's anything, any problems. Okay.
Hardly any time passes after the knock, and you hear the door next door open. You hear some bolts being shot back, several, and then you hear the door opening. You hear what you think is maybe greetings, maybe a couple of men speaking, but only a few words. It's too muffled and for you to understand. And then the door's closed, and then you hear the bolts being shot across again. And then everything's quiet.
I'll creep back across the attic to.
So are you still got this flashlight on?
I have, but again, I'm making sure I'm not shutting anywhere near the hole through the wall. Just basically using it around my feet, just to make sure I'm not going to trip over anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I think once I'm in place, I'll turn it off.
Okay. You're using the flashlight to get back across the attic to the chair that you previously positioned, and then you're going to turn it off when you get there.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do? Climb it back on the chair?
Climb back on the chair and keep watching briefly.
Okay. What, Douglas? Are you staying where you are?
Yeah, not moving. I'm just watching up to see whether get any indication from Jacob that he needs assistance.
Okay, and then Stanton, are you staying where you are as well?
Yeah, stay by the back door. Is the back door's unlocked at the moment, isn't it?
Unlocked, yeah.
Is there a bolt on this side?
No, there isn't on the back door. It's just a lock.
Okay, is there a chair nearby?
Yeah, there's loads of furniture on the bottom level.
So I might have a chair. I might put it in front of the door.
Okay.
Under the handle. So at least if we need to get away quickly, we can just rip the chair out.
Mm-hmm.
But it would stop anyone coming in or delay them anyway. And then, so I'll do that as quietly as I can, then go back to listening.
Okay.
Did you say if there was a blocked up window?
Yeah, they're all boarded.
Okay, yeah, boarded. Sorry.
Yeah, they're all boarded. The windows, and yeah.
So I'll just stand between the window and the door.
Okay. Right. Okay, Jacob. you're standing back on the chair. Presently, after about another 10 minutes, feels like an hour. You think you can hear some talking, and it gets closer, and then you realise that somebody is climbing up the ladder into the attic. Are you going to are you still looking through? Okay. You see a short, elderly, almost toothless African-American man, very little hair, dressed in an old-fashioned brown suit, skeletally thin. So it's Silas Nkwane that you saw previously, the shopkeeper. He appears at the top of the hatch, and he gets up and walks over to the table. And then behind him, you see a tall, muscular African-American man with a shaven head, wearing a dark woolen trench coat and a brown and red striped scarf. He wears a perpetual scowl upon his features. Can you make an intelligence roll, please?
Oh, yeah, that's a success, just an ordinary success.
Okay. You instantly recognise this individual, and you're racking your brains to think where you've seen him before. And as he sits down at the head of the table, it suddenly comes to you. You've seen this guy before, dressed in an Emerson Imports uniform, coming down the stairs when you went up to speak to Arthur Emerson.
So it's not someone we spoke to, but just someone who works there or appears to.
No, you remember
work
when you opened the door, there were two individuals coming down the stairs. One of them spoke to you in an Irish accent, and there was another. This guy was the one that was with him. He didn't say anything, but you definitely remember him.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. They sit down at the table, and Silas Nkwane pours some liquid out of the bottle that I mentioned to you that was on the table into 2 small leather cups. They are talking, but the speech is quite low, and at first you think you kind of strain your ears to hear it, because you can't. It's really difficult, but you can't make out what they're saying, and then you realise that they're actually not speaking English.
Right.
The language that they're speaking sounds to be maybe of African origin.
Okay, I'll carry on watching.
Okay, right. So they both sit at the table, drinking and talking, and you're just going to watch. Yeah. Okay. Can you make a listen roll for me, please?
That is a no. That's a fail.
Fail. Okay. Okay. Psychology,
Oh, I doubt that.
if you have it.
I'm pretty sure that's a fail as well. Yeah, that's a fail too.
Okay. Yeah, you're really struggling to kind of pick up anything, any kind of nuances from the conversation, because the problem you have is that you don't understand the language, but it's really quiet. They're speaking really quietly as well, so it's really difficult to kind of pick anything up. Really. You want to push the roll, the listen roll?
Yeah, I will.
I must warn you. Obviously, the consequences of doing that. It means you're probably going to try and get right close. Get close into the hole.
Yeah, I will. That's a fail. Yes. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. You previously have been positioning yourself a reasonable distance away from the brick to make sure that you weren't seen. But now you push your head right to the brick, with your eyes looking through, and your ear right next to obviously the open area, to see if you can understand what they're saying. Unfortunately, you push too far, and you hear a scraping sound as the chair beneath you kind of shoots back. Can you make a dexterity roll, please?
Yeah, ordinary success.
Okay, you manage not to fall off the chair, so it's just a scraping sound, but it was quite loud. Douglas downstairs, you can hear that. You suddenly hear this kind of scraping sound of chair across the floorboards above you.
A wince.
Both of the men suddenly stand up, and they're speaking still in not in English, but both of them looking directly towards the wall, and then one of the taller of the two men, the large guy that you saw at Emerson Imports before, he picks up the lantern off the table and he starts walking towards the wall directly towards you. What are you going to do? Towards the wall where you are.
I'm going to step down quietly off the chair and just move myself so I'm sort of flush against the wall, but a foot or two to the side.
Okay.
And I'm going to listen straight and carry on listening, just in the hope that I can hear and just have a look up at the hole just to see if the light shines through.
Okay, you push yourself up against the wall. The light comes. It becomes brighter, and you can hear both men speaking. You must be literally just standing on the other side of the wall, and the light is so bright now that the lantern must basically be being held up at the hole itself, and you can actually hear your breath, and you can hear your heart beating in your chest. I'm
just going to stay flush against the wall.
Okay, there's that seems to be an eternity as there's no sound from the other side of the wall, and you'll just flush up against it as quiet as you can be. You then hear one of them say something again in what the African language it is they're using, and the other one chuckles, and then they kind of, the light seems to move away from the opening. What are you going to do?
I'm just going to give it a minute and keep listening that minute before I do anything.
Okay, can you make another listen roll, please?
That is hard success.
Oh, okay. You hear footsteps recede across the attic, and then you can hear somebody going down the ladder.
Okay, I'm gonna flash the torch.
That's straining as somebody
3 times. I'll flash the torch 3 times at the Douglas, and I'll make my way back to the. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to have a quick look back through the hole. But this time, I'm going to make sure my head's a good foot or two back from the hole before I get anywhere near it.
Okay. You don't need to get particularly close to be able to see just without any detail. You can see that the smaller man, Silas Unquane, he's still in the loft, but the other one isn't.
Okay, I'll go back to the roof hatch, poke my head down, and say to Douglas, Silas was there with another man. I think they heard me, and I think the other man's gone back down. He might be joining us shortly. He's one of the workers at Emerson Imports. A big man.
Well, we'll prepare for visitors then. Do we want a confrontation or do we leave?
I presume because you're still in the loft and you're down underneath, so...
Yeah, I'm whispering up to him very quietly.
Yeah, making sure I stick my head right down to the hatch before I talk, so it's not speaking in attic at all.
Okay, as you're conversing with each other, you hear the front door... the back door. Well, it is the front door of Emerson. It's like the JuJu House's door opens up, the one that you just heard the guy go through previously, and he you can hear some footsteps outside now. Stanton, you're right by the door, aren't you?
Yeah, so I've got the chair underneath the handle, so although the door's unlocked, hopefully he'll find it difficult to open it. If he starts trying the lock, I'll brace myself on the chair to keep the chair in position and then draw my pistol.
I'll draw my pistol and take aim at the...
Okay. What, you're from the attic?
No, sorry, I'm going to come down from the attic. Just let myself down.
Okay. Are you helping him down, Douglas?
I will help him down, but I will be frowning at the appearance of pistols.
Well, you want submachine guns?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, you're back out of the loft now. You're just going to stand there?
I'm going to move towards the door very quietly, and I'm taking out a blackjack.
Okay, I will put my pistol away and concentrate on holding the chair.
Okay, what, against the door, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, you get a glimmer of light from outside, as if someone is using some sort of light source that kind of makes its way through the boarding, which actually is pretty robust. You don't you don't hear anything else. You don't see anything else until you hear the door next door, the creak of the hinges as it closes again, and you can hear the bolts being shut across.
Put my pistol in.
I'm going to keep listening to see if there's still someone outside.
Okay.
It may have been trying to trick us.
Can't hear anything
Would be
other
impressive.
than the distant sounds of the city, the wind and the traffic.
Would be an impressive trick to slide the bolts closed from the inside and still be outside.
Could have been someone else.
I could go back up there, gentlemen, but they're talking, and they're talking in what I think is African. I can't understand the word. I'm going to be able
No use to us then.
to know.
Well,
Might be worth. But I guess they're going to try and perform some ceremony. Would that?
Well, is it worth me doing what happens?
Would that help us?
yeah, just watch them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only two of them. They could be just having a drink. In fairness.
Do you want to give me a hand up again, and I'll go and have
I'll give you a boost up.
I'll watch for a bit longer.
Don't trip on anything, eh?
I'll head back up into the attic and resume my post.
Again, so you're going to move across quietly.
Yeah.
I presume. Okay, it takes you a reasonable amount of time to get back up into the loft and then quietly move across it, because by the time you get back near your post, you can hear the low murmuring conversation once again from next door.
I'm just going to stealthily climb back onto the chair and continue watching through the gap.
Okay. Okay. You watch the tall of the two gentlemen, the tall, shaven-haired African American. He knocks back whatever was left in his of his drink, and then he picks up the huge tome that was on the table. You see him kind of fold it closed very carefully, and then he puts it into a bag, and then you see him. He goes and begins to descend the ladder.
At that point, I'm going to move back across the attic to come down again.
You're going to move back across? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I get you to make a stealth roll, please.
I think that's a fail. Yes, it's a fail.
It's not a critical fail, though.
No.
What did you get?
54.
Okay. Okie doke. Right, you move back across you hear you kind of wince a little bit as you hear the floorboard creaks beneath one of your feet as you get close to the hatch.
I'll put my head down through the hatch and point that I'm coming down, and then I'll come down through the hatch feet first, hoping that they help me through to keep it quiet.
Okay. Douglas, you're going to help him down again?
Always.
Okay. You're back down now.
I think our large friend's on the move with the tome that I saw on the table. Wondered if we ought to follow him.
Do you want to mug him?
Well, if the opportunity presents itself.
Well, the tome is going to be absolutely pivotal, isn't it?
Yes, it looks special, if I can put it that way. It's an unusual book.
Right. Then we follow him, and at the first opportunity, we take it from him.
So I'll listening for the bolts next door.
Yeah, okay. You listen to the bolts. Stanton's been listening right next to the door the whole time since he heard the door close, and there's not been any sound outside at all, other than the old kind of street sound in the distance, and the odd bit of wind. But no, you listen for another 5 minutes, and there's no sound of the door opening. In fact, everything is quiet.
But you've taken it somewhere else in the building. It's only small, isn't it? And this place doesn't have a cellar, so we can assume next door doesn't have a cellar.
I thought it did.
Oh, it does have a cellar.
There's a trapdoor down. I'll point at there.
Oh, so it does. My mistake.
Yeah.
Yes, you're quite right.
We haven't
but there wasn't any.
yet.
No, you're quite right. Okay. Well, let's try that then.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the cellar. Was it a hatch to the cellar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trapdoor.
Did the room that you saw in the loft, did that look like a place for some form of religious ceremony, or was it just kind of like a meeting room? You said it had objects in it.
Look more
On the
like a
walls
meeting
as well.
room. It's with a table and glass bottle and cups on it.
Because
It has
maybe,
lots of paraphernalia.
well, yeah, if I was going to be doing occult rituals, I wouldn't be doing them in the attic. I would be doing them in the cellar.
Mm.
So maybe he's taken the tome down into the cellar. Perhaps we should investigate.
Yeah,
Let's
sounds reasonable.
have a look at the hatch.
In the cellar down here.
Yeah, we'll investigate the hatch to the cellar in this room.
Okay. Yeah, you pull open what was effectively a trapdoor, which to look, and as you can see, a stone staircase which heads down into the darkness. You shine your light down the staircase. It looks like all you can see at the bottom of the stairs is a massive amount of rubble. It looks like the cellar's kind of partially, well, not collapse is the wrong word, but there's a lot of mess down there, and doesn't look. You kind of shine your light around, other than the odd rat or other kind of rodent. There's not really anything down there. It hasn't been used by the looks of it for a long time.
I might just go down a few steps. I'm not going to stand in the rubble because that'll make an absolute racket, but just get down to the bottom step so I can have a slightly better look around in the attic. Yeah, sorry, in the cellar.
It's quite a small cellar as well. It's only probably only about 8 foot square. So it's a small cellar for the size of the property itself. But yeah, the one disappointment is that the walls are made of stone brick, and they look well. There doesn't look to be any way you could potentially get through to any way out of the cellar.
Again, does the cellar sort of share a party wall with what's presumably the cellar next door? Is it sort of in line with the boundary?
Yeah, it does. But it's it looks like it's a solid kind of brick cellar. Doesn't seem to be any. By just cursory examination reveals there's no way you could get through to next door from here.
Yeah, without a sledgehammer.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Without a reasonable amount of excavation. No. What are you doing?
Thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we call it a night and try and come back again?
What end? We're just be in exactly the same situation. Unless you want to try and eat at a time when there isn't anybody here. But we don't know whether our owner friend actually lives here, so he may be here all the time.
Yeah, if we want to do anything with the cellar, that'll have to be carefully and maybe even in daytime.
So in terms of the geography of JuJu House, we know that there's a back room, don't we, on the ground floor? There's a cellar, or most likely a cellar, that we haven't seen. Other than that, I think we've seen everything, haven't we? We've seen.
Yeah, you've seen the front. You've seen the front part of the shop. You saw behind the counter there's a curtain that's kind of half pulled back, a door which obviously led through to a back room. But like you said, you haven't seen any evidence of a cellar. I guess you're just assuming there's one because
this one's got
one here.
Yeah.
And there are steps up.
Yeah,
the front door from next door.
That was the first. Yeah, the first assumption, wasn't it?
And a attic room.
It's a shame they're using their attic.
I think you dropped out a bit there, Andy. What did you say?
Sorry, there wasn't a bed in the attic room, sir.
No. You with your description of the room it being a meeting room, that's spot on. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. So if that's a meeting room with no bed, there's no bed in the shop. If Kwame lives on the premises, then he will be sleeping in the back, or possibly the cellar, if he lives on the premises.
Well, let's make some further assumptions. If it is used for occult activities, then the cellar would be where they would conduct their ceremonies, which means he's unlikely to be sleeping down there. So he probably sleeps in the back of the shop.
Can I just ask you three chaps just to jump off for a second whilst I have a quick word with Dave? And again, I'll post a message on the Roll20 chat when you can come back. Okay. Lex.
Yes.
I bet you're glad you gave up playing Baldur's Gate 3 tonight for this.
It's more relaxing. I'm quite enjoying it, so don't worry.
It's okay. So can you make me another spot hidden roll? It's about an hour later now.
I have found that also. I am not a good lookout.
You're not a good look there. No, you're good at staying there, but you're just not good at seeing anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, you are suddenly aware of a presence. It's getting on. It's gone 12:30 now. You glance at your watch, like 12:40, and you see a man, a smartly dressed man in a navy coat and a short brim fedora. He's kind of just appeared out of nowhere, and he's just turning the corner and heading down the alleyway towards JuJu House.
Okay.
As he does so, you notice him. Sorry, Karen.
What time is it?
12:40.
12:40. Thank you. Sorry.
You see him adjust his shoulder holster as he makes his way down the alleyway. You've seen enough men wearing a shoulder holster to know what that looks like. He's obviously carrying a gun, but he arrived at the head of the alleyway too quickly for you because you didn't spot him that far off, and now he's already heading down the alleyway.
Okay.
You staying where you are?
I think I have to. I can't really stop him and challenge him. I can't really raise the alarm. I mean, I'll just send the guys a text message, shall I? But,
Yeah, if only.
yeah.
If it was Delta Green, you could potentially do
Yeah,
that.
Call of Cthulhu sucks. Delta Green is so much better. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to have to let him go. I know
Okay.
where he's going, so there's no point me following him.
No, and you haven't seen the other man come out.
No.
And you've seen nobody else go down
So,
the alleyway, as far as you're aware.
So there's some sort of meeting happening. How long was it been in between?
It's been a good hour now since the last guy went in. Yeah, a little bit more maybe.
Okay, well that actually gives me a bit of confidence. They've survived an hour since the last guy went in.
Without anything kicking off too bad.
Yeah,
I haven't sent you a text to say they're dead yet.
yeah, quiet.
Okay, so you're just going to stay put.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Why can't I find?
And they're back in the room.
Indeed.
Yep, back again.
Okay. Lovely. Right. So you were sorry. I cut you off middle deliberation. It's about when you glance at your watches. It's gone 12:30 now. You've heard nothing from next door for a while.
I can't breaking in through.
Is it just me, or was Andy dropping out?
Andy's dropping out quite badly.
Okay. Right.
Am I?
Yeah, he dropped out a couple of times then. I heard breaking in, that's all I heard.
I don't know if it's any better now. It probably isn't. Oh no, the connection. I think it's a bit better now.
You sound okay now.
Yeah, you sound all right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're not getting in there, are we? Unless we break in, which is going to result in a fight. Do we wait and see if one of them can tell them then?
Well, I don't think the book's going anywhere, is it? It's just been transported downstairs.
Anthony, where are you at the moment?
I moved back to the front door, back door.
Back to the back door.
Alleyway door.
Door that opens out into Ransom Court.
Yes.
Okay. You
just
can
listen there.
Because you're next to that door listening, you can make a listen roll.
Nope, fail. It's not a bad fail. Still a fail.
Okay. Okay, so the next sound that you hear is another soft tap or rap on the door, and you can hear a voice. You hear some, but you can't really hear what it says. It's sort of like, "Oh, when I was freezing out here." That's all you can
I
hear.
will move a bit closer to the window,
Saturday.
and I'll get the others' attention as well.
Is that at our door or next door's door?
Next door's door.
Next door's door. And just say,
Okay.
Don't say anything.
You're just going to wait, are you?
We didn't.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't hear any of this. Did we? Was it just Stanton?
No, you haven't heard. It's just Stanton at the moment. Yeah.
but I have just waved at them and then pointed next door.
I'll come across to that side of the abandoned pawn shop to one of the boarded up windows, wherever's closest to the alley, to the courtyard, and have a listen.
Okay. It's been a couple of minutes since you heard the original sound, Stanton. And then you hear again, open up. It's freezing out here.
So
The door. You hear the door open. You hear the bolt being shot back next door, and the door creaks again and is opened. You hear a brief exchange of conversation. You hear a man say, "Can you both make a listen roll for this, please?"
Okay.
That's a fail, critical fail rather. 100.
Critical
yeah.
fail.
Shocking,
Okay.
right? Yeah, it's another fail for me.
Okay. Well,
What
you
happens
don't
then?
hear
Do I
anything at all.
burst an eardrum?
Yeah, your head blows up. Yeah. You can't. I think a listen roll is one of those things in this situation where you can't really. All you mean is you just don't hear anything at all. You don't even hear the. Whereas Stanton, you hear like a muffled exchange of words, and then the door closes again, and you hear the bolt shooting back.
Okay, I'm listening for footsteps walking away from the door back into the court.
Okay. No, you don't hear any.
Because listening is so bad.
Well, it looks like the ship has sailed if it comes to going in there, because there are an increasing number
Mm.
in attendance, and they're probably gearing up for a ceremony,
Seems
which I do not
likely.
want to get involved in.
No.
So we wait. What would be interesting would be to see who turns up and who we recognise, because that would tell us who are cultists.
Mm.
I hope that Lex might have spotted.
Yeah,
And what did you hear, Stanton, when you waved us over?
just someone else approaching. I think it must have been a lookout. Well, no, it could have been a guest. Someone complaining about being cold.
In
So maybe they were just kept waiting,
English?
annoyed.
And that was in
Right,
English?
I think, yeah, it was in English. Yes, it was American. Barely hear that.
Yeah, you think that
Mm.
it was it was American English, even from the New York accent.
Mm. So next time, I think we need to bring a hand drill.
Mm.
Just drill a little hole through these boarded up windows, through the boards.
So what do? We should just hunker down. Somebody, we either leave or we wait until after the ceremony is completed, or we wait down in the cellar, listen. If they are conducting a ceremony, maybe we'll hear noise filter through, and whilst they're occupied, maybe we break in then, because they will be otherwise engaged. It's either totally the worst time to go in, or totally the best time to go in,
Or both.
or both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you just gonna what you're doing now? And you just kind of hanging about to see what happens.
Yeah.
In lieu
I
of
think so,
having
especially-
any form of useful plan.
Where?
That's all.
Yeah, well, I just thought what I meant was you going to see who, because you said something about seeing who else turns up.
Mm.
Mm. Okay, well,
If we wanted
about
to call all the bases, sorry, then listen if anyone else turns up. One of us in the cellar to see if we can overhear something from there, and maybe one of us back in the attic, or just check the
Mm.
attic first to see if there's anyone in there.
Yeah.
is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, I think we should do that. Someone up in the attic, someone listening in the cellar, and someone standing waiting here in between.
Shall I just check the attic? Because I think the likely is that either they're going to be up there still, or
Yes.
they're probably all moving elsewhere.
Yeah, go on then.
Because you may see who that last person was.
Okay, you're going to go back up into the attic then, yeah?
Yeah, and get a leg up again from Douglas and Stanton, please.
Okay, you get yourself back up into the attic, and you make your way slowly and as quietly as possible across to the missing brick. What are you going to do? Stand back on the chair again?
Yeah, and have a look through.
Okay.
The lamp was lit, but the candelabra wasn't. Is that still the case?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is still the case. There's nobody in the room either.
I'll just have a listen for half a minute before I move back and
Okay. listen roll, please.
That's a success, just an ordinary success.
Okay, you can hear a conversation going on, which you think is probably it's down in the from the downstairs, probably either in the main shop itself, or maybe if there is a back room. But yeah, you can certainly hear a conversation. The odd word, but it's so quiet you can just hear them. It's kind of muffled. No chance of making out.
Not even what language it's in.
No, it's really difficult. No. Well, you have a feeling from the intonation and the way that you think it's more likely to be English than it was. It doesn't sound like the African language you heard earlier. If you had to put money on it, you'd say they're probably speaking English, but it's just that would probably be a guess.
Yeah,
that's your hunch.
Having been inside JuJu House, inside the shop, and having seen the access hatch from the attic, do I think that goes down into the shop itself or the area behind the curtain?
You think it probably goes into the area behind the curtain?
Okay.
Well, you're almost certain that's the case.
Yeah. And is the area, presumably the area behind the curtain, is on the far side of the building, away from the courtyard? Is it? I think
that's correct.
From the courtyard into the shop.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, the barred windows would be that side. Yeah. If you look on the diagram that's on, you can see the diagram, can't you, on a Discord?
Yeah. So if I was going to listen, it would be from there. Yeah. I'm going to come back.
Yeah. Okay. But as you begin to make your way back across, the other two, you can hear again the bolts being shot across on the door on the door. Stanton, you didn't hear anybody approaching from outside, but you hear the door open, and you hear some footsteps. You hear the crunching of footsteps in the snow on the outside the door. They begin to recede. It sounds like up the alleyway.
Okay. Is Jacob? Are you still upstairs?
I'm heading down.
He's heading towards the hatch.
Heading down.
Yeah.
Okay, but Douglas is still downstairs.
I haven't moved in the last hour or so everyone else is getting their steps. But I'm getting a bit chilly.
So I'll wave at Douglas and say one, and then make a finger motion of him walking away.
Okay. While we wait, we'll see.
Yeah. You can keep talking. Sorry, I'm just conversing with Lex.
Okay. Well, we'll wait. See whether the other person leaves, and that will just leave Silas on his own. We just need to be a bit more decisive. All we're doing is waiting for something to happen. We either go in now, or we call it a night and we go home.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be going in, pulling guns and shooting people. I'm not a murderer.
No.
I'm assuming I've got down from the house now. So
they've helped you down again. Yeah.
Well, I'm not intending on killing anyone, but if one of those bastards goes for me with a machete, then I'm going to defend myself.
That is fair. Right. Well, we definitely know that there's occult activity going on in there, some description. We've identified that the murder weapons or similar murder weapons are there, which connects them to the murder. So we can either call in the police, or we go in there and deal with it ourselves. There's an element of me that says that we're not going to get any assistance from the police because they're protected.
Well, there's going to be a political power struggle there, isn't it? The good lieutenant's investigating the murders, and we'll want to give him a lead. The one in charge of Harlem's going to want to keep him out, and it's on his patch.
Or we go in and wreak terrible vengeance on the people that are responsible for Jackson's death.
Well, look, unless we're going to go in now, perhaps we should, retreat and go and find Lex.
Are we saying we don't go in?
I think
let's just take stock. Do we know? We know there were three of them. We know there was Silas, the Emerson Imports guy, plus someone else who spoke English. How many of them do we know? Stanton, how many left, do you think? You were by the door listening.
One.
Do we still think there's two in there?
Two in there. Yes, I think there are two there. To be honest, I'd only feel confident if it was the three of us against Silas. I don't fancy coming up against that big chap.
We don't have to use a pistol, but you can show him a pistol.
That's what I was thinking of if he'd broken in here.
Could try listening through the barred windows, but I suspect if it's the man from Emerson, it wasn't Silas. They'll just be talking what's presumably Kenyan again.
I would say that next time the door opens, we rush out and force our way in.
I'm not saying no, but the alternative is to wait for someone else to leave and then tail them.
To what end, though? Because what are they going to lead us? Because everything suspect is in the place they'll be leaving, unless we get them on their own and then question them. But if you question them, what are you going to do with them afterwards? Because they'll just go and warn their cultist friends, unless we put them in the position where they're unable to.
I'll be honest, I'm uneasy about going in. I'm not a fighter.
I would agree. This is so beyond my what I'm used to.
And what are we here for? And what are we hoping to achieve?
I think we were here to gather information about who and what, but we did make a mistake. I should have thought of this. The barred up windows. We need to see as well as hear. So do we come back tomorrow night and drill a little hole through these boards? At least that way we could see who's coming in. And obviously, Jacob, you saw up in the attic two of the people.
Are we coming up to a significant date? Why is that in my head? Is there am I completely imagining or misremembering something about significant dates? I think I might completely imagine it. I'm just wondering whether there's, you say coming back another night, is their ceremony based on a specific date? I mean, are they going to do one every full moon, every new moon, every blue moon? It's a very demanding god if they have to do a ceremony every night.
Is there any way to get through to that attic room without, I mean, not necessarily tonight, but to widen that gap without...
You have to take a wall down.
Well, you could, because you could, if you had a hammer and a chisel, you could take a few bricks out fairly easily, but...
Noisy.
Yeah, I mean, so the answer is yes.
Very noisy.
So what we could do is try to chisel out a lot of the mortar. We can get to a point where we could just then break through.
We could get at the tome if it
in one go.
If that's where it's kept, but it's going to. If Silas Kwame is on the premises, he's going to hear at any time of day, isn't he?
So it's really sort of scratching out the mortar.
It's our objective to steal the book. Is that it?
Yeah, if there's any other paperwork.
Yes, in case it contains some information, but it's not going to be an easy thing to do.
We'd then have to study the book. Although I know of a place where we can hide it. The library.
It's a big book.
Yes, so to get in, I think maybe our easiest option is to scrape out the mortar of those bricks upstairs and then get to a point where we can then just sort of kick the wall in and burst in.
Why would we do that?
Because they wouldn't expect us coming that way. And we could wait until people have left and then go in. And that, because otherwise, if you're trying to get in through the front door that's bolted and shuttered and locked, trying to burst in when someone's coming out, you've then got two people, the person who's coming out plus the chap behind the door.
But why burst in at all? If we're scraping a hole through, then we wouldn't. Surely we'd be better off going in quietly.
Yes, and trying to wait until as few people are there as possible.
Perhaps if we are going to try and remove bricks, could we do it during the day? There might be much more background noise then.
Yes, I think that would be better.
Kwame is more likely to be in the shop for that during the day as well, which keeps him away from the attic room. And
presumably there's a trapdoor to the attic that would be closed during the day.
Or we just go in yes, he usually has two people sat out the front guarding, doesn't he? They weren't here the first time we came down, were they? But they were the second.
Yeah, I think the shop was closed, wasn't it, the first time? That was on a Sunday.
First time he came down was on Sunday. There wasn't anybody here then, no.
Okay, so maybe they're only guarding when he's open.
Is it the day after the funeral? That's correct.
Today
Yeah.
is actually the day of the funeral, the
Day
evening
of
of the
the
funeral.
Of course it is, yeah. And that was, so we're now in the wee small hours of Tuesday morning.
Correct. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
So currently we think there are two people next door. Silas and probably the Emerson Imports chap, but we don't know.
We don't know which other one.
Yeah, either the third person to visit or the second.
Well, let's just try. So
Yeah.
our options are: we either try and go in now and deal with whoever's there. At least two people we know of, including Silas. We want one of them leaves and tail them, or we try and get the book stealthily as we can by funneling through, as it were, from the attic another day. Any other
Or
ideas?
we wait until the one remaining visitor leaves, and then we bang on the door when Silas is on his own with a muffled "let me in," see if he opens the door,
Mm.
and then we have him on his own, and we hold him whilst we search the place.
I like that one.
They know who we are, so it means nothing that if they see our faces. We're being watched by them anyway. We've been here already.
Yeah. The only worry is that Kwame is more than he looks, which we've seen before with Larkin. But there are three of us.
Well, yes. He's bound to be.
You all make listen rolls, please.
And that's a fail from me.
Okay.
Stanton fails again.
Can you get a bonus dice because of your proximity?
Just for sympathy.
No, it's because you've been hanging about next to that door for the whole session.
I haven't heard a single thing. So I need a D10, don't I?
Yeah.
And I can hopefully replace the 9 with something more suitable. Yay!
Did you pass?
I passed. I passed as well, by the way. Just so you know.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realise.
I had a hard pass.
Ooh. Okay. So, Douglas, you hear the sound of some footsteps coming towards across the courtyard. They're quite heavy footsteps. Stanton, you can hear some whispered conversation in American accent that says, "I'm just going to check in here."
I'll wave frantically at the others and point at the door. Our door.
What are you going to do?
Lean on the door.
Yep.
I'm going to
try and hold the handle. I'll lean against the chair and I'll point to the handle to Jacob to hold up the handle.
Okay, so you're Jacob.
Okay.
You're going to.
I'll do it.
Is that what you're going to do?
I shake my head when he tries to don't hold the handle up.
All right. I'm not very strong, so what I'm gonna do is move back across away from the door, about sort of 10 foot into the room. If someone opens the door, I want to be right in the middle of their line of sight with it drawn and pointing at the door.
Okay, so you hear you hear somebody. You can hear somebody walking about outside, and you hear somebody taps on the window.
And now, police.
Police, anyone in there? Anyone in there? Police. You hear the footsteps move across to the door. And so what are you doing with the door? You're not holding the handle?
No, because then that would know that there's someone on the other side. It's just keeping it shut as if it's locked.
Yeah. Okay, you see the handle. You see the handle move as if it's been grabbed. And you see the door. You feel the door being pushed. You're just going to push back, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm bracing the chair against the underside of the handle.
Okay. The handle goes loose again as the door is pushed, but not particularly hard. And obviously, once the resistance is felt, the handle is let go.
I'll breathe out.
Okay. You hear the footsteps recede in the snow, but you kind of lose them after that.
We've got the other door bolted, haven't we?
Yeah.
You get the odd flash of a flashlight outside that comes in through the very occasionally through the small cracks in the boarding.
And they've even been
The
asked, they haven't been asked to
I'll
check because they would have been more. They would have been more thorough
Mm.
if that was anything more than just a
Yeah,
patrol.
coincidence.
I think we wait until the last guest leaves and then we pay a visit.
Okay, you're just going to wait now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you wait for about another half an hour. So it's now pushing kind of towards 2:00. When you hear, kind of out of the blue, really, next door, you kind of hear the door again, the bolts being shot back on the door, and the door opens.
I'll listen at the window.
Okay.
Would you like me to roll?
No,
trying
hold on
to-
a sec.
Hear voices to see who it might be that's leaving.
Strange.
I'll roll for you. Okay, you don't hear any voices, but you do hear the crunching of footsteps as they move away from the door. You also hear the door being shut and bolted again.
I'll carefully move. When we came in through this door in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
did it creak open or did it open nice and smoothly?
It creaked a little bit, yeah, because obviously it hasn't been ordered for a long time, so it would have creaked.
Okay. Yeah, so just wait for that person to leave. And tell the others if they hadn't realised what's going on.
So what's the plan? Knock on the door to JuJu House.
You
Wait
can
for
knock
the
on the door, say police,
yeah, the
or
bolts.
say police, because that might get him to open it.
Was the door to JuJu House? What does it have a glass panel or a hole, or is it just
No, it's just a solid door. Yeah.
so he's not going to be able to tell who it is? Yeah, that sounds good. And then what? Once he bolts back, we mob him.
Does the door open in or out?
The door opens towards him.
Okay. Yeah. So the minute that he pushes the bolts back and he starts opening it, we shove the door really hard to push him back. Hopefully he'll fall over and then we'll charge in.
And then the aim is what to overpower, perhaps tie him up, and then
Tie him up and search the place.
search the.
Yep.
We're all on board with this, Stanton.
I think you might have to take the lead on this, Douglas.
Well,
Jacob, I think you got to be the one to alert his attention. I don't think our American accents are
no.
quite up to scratch.
I'm wondering whether we go and get Lex as well.
Maybe a bag to put under this chap's head. Although I think they know we don't.
They do know who we are, so it doesn't matter. You want to go and get Lex or not?
Will I go and get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's on the road out the back through the alleyway.
It's going to have.
Would it be a good
So
idea
it's
just
gonna
go out the front door and then go around the block?
Trying to avoid the police. Shall I go and get him?
He's going to have to leave.
Okay, so you're going to go out the front door.
I'm going to go out the front door, go loop round, go to Lex, tell him that we're going down. We're going to go in.
Okay.
We'll go back in through the front door, then out through the back, so we're not walking up the alleyway.
Hold on a second.
Does that make sense?
No, bear with me. Yeah. It keeps rolling dice all the time.
No.
No one. I think it's just
It
an
does, it
old
just rolls itself.
ghost dice.
Mhm.
Because wouldn't it be funny if you go and see Lex and he's just sitting there chilling
Frozen
out?
solid.
No, but he's got the tome on the seat next to him.
Bit of light reading.
Yeah, nab the guys who's coming out.
No, even funnier if it was Lex that went in earlier on.
Lex went in, he grabbed the book.
He's panicked about too much, so I kicked the door in, grabbed everything, and I'm waiting in the car.
Okay,
And
so
the last shouted police and tried the door.
Douglas, revisit your plan because I can't do two things at once, so I couldn't listen.
Right,
Okay, tell me what you said.
I'm going out onto West 138th.
Yeah.
Then I'm looping around the block, going to find Lex in the car, picking him up, going back round again, back through West 38th, back
Right.
in,
Okay.
and
So
then when we're all there, we're going to go out into the alleyway, the courtyard, and knock on the door.
okay, you make your way out to the front door onto you go down the steps onto West 138th Street. Okay.
Yeah.
You've not moved more than about 10 yards up the road when you suddenly see Lex parked on the side of the street. in Jacob's car.
Has he moved?
Yep.
I walk over to him. Something happened?
Cops. There's a cop car by the alleyway. I let down the tires and then moved around to the front door. So there's not going to be any car chases this evening. But they've been in there at least 30 minutes.
They've been in.
They went down the alleyway.
They went down the alley and they've been down in there 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we heard them moving around, but we didn't. Maybe they didn't leave. You didn't see them leave.
Cop car's still there.
I'll explain where we're going. We were going to loop back round and then try and force our way in. But if the police are still hanging around, I think that idea is out the window.
Yeah.
We should probably just leave.
I think so. That's why I moved round to round to here.
I'll go and get
the others. I'll
we'll wait until we're out and then fire it up and we'll head off. Okay, I'll head back to the pawnbrokers and
okay.
tell them we're leaving.
You see Douglas come back in surprisingly fast from the front door.
We're leaving. The police haven't left.
Quick.
They're Lex says that he saw the police come down, but they've been gone for half an hour, which means that they didn't leave when we thought they did. Yeah.
So that last visitor left, but the police are still there.
Time. I'm heading out.
Okay, so before we leave, Jacob, how about would you be able to lock this door to the alleyway and then lock the front door as we leave?
Probably should.
And make it harder for anyone else to...
You can do that, because once you've opened it, you should easily be able to lock it again.
Yeah, so it makes it...
And then when we come back, maybe we could come back through this front door.
I'll start by locking the door to
Okay.
the shop.
Yeah, it takes you kind of 5 minutes or so to lock both the doors, which you do fairly easily, say, after you've already opened them. Okay, and then you're going to, just go out the front and get in the car?
Yeah, and leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
You head through jump into the car and rumble off, I guess, wherever it is you're going.
Going to go and have a
Lex in on
with
my
the script.
Going to go and have a word with what?
I want to go and have a word with the script writers for this episode because nothing happened.
Spectacular fail.
It's almost like one of those episodes for soaps where they just have two people in a room.
It's a bottle episode. What do they call them?
It's a bottle episode. Yeah, that's what it is.
Bottle.
Yeah, all takes place in one. So it was cheap to produce.
Yeah. Well, it just required one room, didn't it? So
yeah.
Saved on set.
Yeah, Jacob, you were saying something just then.
Sorry?
You were saying something just then.
I was
as we were driving off.
Just going to say, just to fill in what little happened while we're on the drive.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was just
update me on the drive. I'll update you from what I saw. I saw a guy with a fedora go in, and he came out. I think it was probably about an hour later, and he was putting something into his coat pocket, and then he headed along West 37th, 137th, sorry. And then
what did he put into his pocket? Big or small?
About envelope size.
Mm.
And then it wasn't that much long after that. The police turned up.
Mm.
These look like
do you think that
they
was
were on a routine patrol shop?
I seemed to head straight for the shop.
Maybe that was that corrupt police captain coming to collect his bribe.
How the hell do they seem to know every time we're here?
Because they're always here.
Maybe.
So I'm thinking about our lodgings. Although they know we're investigating them, they don't know how far we've progressed and how much of a threat. So I think maybe we should say we're still safe where we are at the moment.
Not so sure.
Because there'll come a time where we have to find somewhere else to be.
Well, I think we should assume we're not safe. They came for Jackson.
Well, they killed Jackson, didn't they? Yeah.
So do we take the fight to them?
Where are you driving to, Lex?
I was driving to Stanton's house.
Okay. Which is the closest.
Yeah.
Six,
I'll
heading towards Morningside Heights, then Upper West.
More
If we're being
Heights.
followed, do a loop
I'm checking.
before we go before we pull up to see whether there's anybody watching your house,
Yeah, so checking that we haven't been followed.
and also that your
Yeah.
home isn't being watched.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so you're going to head towards Stanton's house.
I will head towards Stanton's house on Morningside Heights, and then I will drive straight past it and head to Canal Street at the bottom of Manhattan.
Okay.
Keep glancing in the mirror.
Being followed,
I think so.
Mm.
and the question is, are they just following us, or do they want to catch us?
Yeah, exactly. I figure we'll head to Canal, then maybe back to Hudson Yard Docks.
Well, if we're going to have some kind of confrontation, the docks would be a good place to have it.
Yeah,
Let's do that then.
yeah.
Okay. So you head away from Stanton's house. You all kind of notice now that Lex has pointed out there is a Ford Model A NYPD patrol car is following you.
It's police, is it? Oh,
But once you enter Midtown, the car pulls off, gives up.
right. See, my money is on them just being paid for protection,
Yes.
rather than them being involved in any
Yeah.
cult activity.
Yeah. Problem is they're doing a
Just
damn good job of it.
Yeah, we don't want to get into a firefight with police.
No.
Yeah.
Is it worth talking to Lieutenant Poole about this? I mean, we know there is definite connection between Jackson's death and these premises. There's the machetes, the headdresses. It's a major lead for him. But the question is he going to be in a position to do anything about it?
No, he's not, is he? Because he's going to have to go around a bunch of crooked cops who are going to lose a payday.
Yeah.
The only way to get into JuJu House is with a lot of evidence where he can just steamroller using their steamroller through the local crooked ones.
Might he be able to help us enough to get something off? See, every time we've gone near those premises, the cops have turned up.
It's always the same too, though, as well, isn't it? It's there.
Yeah. I didn't get a look at their faces because I was I ducked down until they got out of their car. They had their backs to me. Then I looked.
Okay, where are you heading now? It's gone 2 a.m.
We should just head back to one of our who's got the largest apartment.
Probably Stanton.
Head back to Stanton's for a sleepover.
You're after this pastry, isn't it?
Fair enough.
Well, it's not open at the moment.
Well, I don't think it would be wise for us to all go to our respective homes. We need to stick together.
Yes.
Okay, so you're driving back north towards Morningside Heights again now. Then.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we need to get evidence from JuJu House, don't we? Because that's going to lead us to other places. So getting the police in there is going to... Yeah?
That book will have more information on the bloody tongue.
Yeah. So we need that, because that will lead us to other places. So it's going to... If we want to stop their activities, we need access to it. We can't do anything just to stop them by torching the place or something like that. That's not going to gain us anything. They'll just relocate. If we get the police involved, even assuming we can get the police involved, anything of any use will go into evidence. Again, no use to us. So we have to get in there ourselves. We have to be quick because the police can't be there all the time. I mean, it might be a good idea to go back there now because they might think that we've abandoned it for the night.
Now's probably not ideal. I let down the tyres of their car, so they're going to be stuck there for a little bit.
Okay. Right. Well,
Who was it who followed us?
the different police.
Yeah,
So there is more than two.
that's the worry. Yeah, it's not just those two.
It'd be a whole station house, isn't it?
Precinct 14.
Mm.
A rotten orchard, not just a rotten apple.
Mm. Yeah, gonna have to close them down.
Right. So the first thing we do is bomb the precinct.
That'll cause a distraction.
Exactly. I don't know. At this stage, short of brute force, I'm kind of out of suggestions.
Can't see storming in there like gangbusters is going to work. We'll get the cops turning up. It's going to go south really quickly.
Okay, you are back. You've travelled back to Stanton's apartment.
Tell you what we could do. We've got a large sum of money. If the police are in it for the money, then we out-bribe them.
That could go bad very, very fast.
Bribing a police officer.
That is
A major felony.
that's success or prison with zero middle ground.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's
I think-
absolutely right.
I think you've just summed up our situation.
Yeah. Last resort, though.
Yeah, that's plan Z.
Well, I mean, it's an alternative to brute force. So I've got more than one idea. If we did force our way in, what are the police going to do?
Arrest us for breaking and entering.
Well, not if we're in there already and there's a flipping cultish ceremony going on.
Yeah.
That might
Oh.
slightly change their opinion of whose side they're on.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe.
Well, it had that effect on me when I did it.
Mm.
Not that I was on the take, I should point out.
So I was assuming you're not a corrupt cop or weren't a corrupt cop at the time, Douglas.
No, but it certainly made me a believer.
Okay, are you going into... Is it ground floor, your apartment, Adam?
No, it isn't. Bear with me. I believe it's on the
Not now.
third floor, apartment 32.
Brandon has the high ground.
So that's third floor in America, second floor in Britain.
Okay, you are now back safely, having not noticed anybody watching Stanton's apartment. You are now in his apartment, safe and sound. You close the door and relieved to lock it behind you.
Okay, so gentlemen, coffee or something stronger?
Just coffee for me.
I won't take a coffee, thank you, because I was planning on sleeping tonight.
Yeah, I'd have something stronger if you've got it, Anton, after this evening. Thank you.
Certainly, I'll go and find a bottle of Highland Scotch. Benefits from food parcels from home.
Contraband.
And glass of milk. Douglas?
No, I'm good, thank you. Perhaps we should just retire. I don't know. I'm interested in other people's ideas as to what
We know
do.
we want to get in. Our options to get in are storming the place, trying to get in surreptitiously through the attic. The alternative might be to try and enlist some help. That might involve Lieutenant Paul, or possibly,
Or our good friend, the publisher, solicitor.
or possibly even Carlyle's sister. Was it?
Mm.
We've got Jackson's notes, haven't we? That suggest that the Bloody Tongue was behind the murder of the Carlisle expedition, and we know the Bloody Tongue are operating from JuJu House. We've finally got something at least to share with her to get her on board, but I don't know quite how much power and influence she'll have.
I'll tell you something that we could do to do away with the police protection. We could tell our reporter friend about it.
Yep.
I quite like that.
Because the minute she starts poking around, then they'll have to ease off. but I would suggest that we don't tell her directly about JuJu House because she would probably go in there and end up dead. But if we tell her that there's major corruption, name some names, and get her to ask around, and we say that we believe that there is a link between the murders and the suspect who's in custody, she'll start digging around the arresting officer, who seems to be crooked as hell. That might distract him for a while. Possible plan?
Yeah, we don't want to spook the people in JuJu House.
Bit late for that. They know we've been poking around. We've been in there twice.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't want to, drive them away.
No, the idea is to drive away the police.
Yeah.
So
You've
we
only-
tell her.
You've only been in there once, by the way, not twice.
No, well, we've been down there.
I
We've
see.
been seen there
Round.
twice.
Mm.
We've been in
What
there
about-
once. We've been seen
Yeah.
twice. But if we tell her that there is very suspicious activity related to the arresting officers and that precinct, that they are taking bribes, and that we think that it's potentially connected to them protecting the murderers, the true murderers of the other victims, not necessarily just Jackson, then that might get them to back off.
I'm not saying no, but the alternative might be to try and enlist the support of Lieutenant Poole to see if there's anything he can do to distract. I mean, he's investigating Jackson's murder. He knows
But
there's
he is
link.
a subordinate
tell him.
officer, isn't he?
Well, he is, but he
It's common knowledge that that they're crooked. Is it not?
what's he going to do? He's investigating Jackson's murder. He knows, or we can tell him there's a cult link. We can tell him that the cult's associated with JuJu House. He's either going to back off because it's the territory of a corrupt officer, or he's going to have some idea of how to go about this.
Well, we could ask him that we need to get into JuJu House. He needs to get those officers to leave that area for a bit. So get the word to them that we're not interested in their wider protection racket, but but they have to leave that area, that particular building.
Yeah. Or if there's something he can do to distract for a short period. I don't know. Just a thought, we could share what we know with him and see whether he's got any connections or any suggestions. Problem with the journalist is it's difficult to see where to lead. What she's going to do.
With that information. No, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I don't want to put her in danger. Okay, well, let's ask Poole if he can do something to pull the protection away from JuJu House.
Okay, so that's what you're
put the word out that it's being investigated by the feds, and then they'll probably back off.
Yeah.
For import fraud, tax, customs duties, something like that. There's nothing that scares people more than money.
It's the IRS.
Yeah.
Okay, so your plan is to go to sleep now then, and then head to Precinct 7A tomorrow morning to try and have a word with Lieutenant Poole. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sleeping with my pistol.
Okay.
I'll fetch some blankets.
Pistol's better.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sleeping in the safety of Morningside Heights.
So I have a sofa, I'm sure, a few chairs.
You're all exhausted, both mentally and physically, after today's activities. It feels like about 3 days ago that you went to Jackson's funeral, but it's been a long old day. So yeah, you all drift off to sleep quite quickly with your thoughts whirring around in your head. Next morning, Tuesday morning, rise and just go straight to the police station.
A breakfast first.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, you have breakfast and then head straight there. Yeah, so kind of head out about mid-morning.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if we've got anything else to do, have we?
It's a cold, grey morning as you head towards Precinct 7A, and you are successful in gaining an audience impressively quickly, actually, with Lieutenant Paul. You're showing through to his office. Good to see you all again. How are you?
Little tired.
Yeah, you look like shit. What have you got for me?
Well, I'll nod to Jacob. Go for it.
Well, Lieutenant, I'm assuming you're investigating Jack's murder.
Well, unofficially, maybe. Like I said to you before, it's not my case. It's Robson's. But yeah, have you brought me anything?
Well, yes, yes and no, Lieutenant. We know that Jackson's murder was associated with a cult, cult that appears to originate in East Africa. We know that they use machetes, which obviously they used on Jackson, and we've managed to establish that there is a link with this cult here in New York City. We know where the building is. We'd like to gain access to it to see if we can establish a little more, but that's really where we're having some difficulty, and it's in the heart of Precinct 14 and Captain Robson's domain. It seems to have the benefit of some protection from New York's. We're wondering really whether there was anything to do to be able to assist us.
Have you got any hard evidence? I've told you before, my hands are tied as much as I'd like to help you, unless I've actually got something to go on. I've been down this road before. Robson just closes every door.
Well, we suspect the Lieutenant is in the premises.
Yeah, I know. Well, like I said, unless I've got something, I can't. What can I do? I mean, hell, it's frustrating, but we don't really know anything more than we kind of guessed before, but do we? So I can't.
Well, we can get in if we can get in there and get the evidence.
I can't. I can't be complicit in that, can I? If I could. Okay, let's say I can. Let's say I could. How would I help? What can I do?
We just need some way in which we can get the crooked cops who are protecting that place away so that we can gain access. Because every time we approach it, we are chased off. They've got their own private police force keeping watch over them. If there's some way they can be warned off.
But I can't warn off. I can't. I mean, Robson isn't going to admit to being on the take, is he? So I can't go to my boss and say we need to warn Robson off, because he'll be like, well,
warn him off and what and why. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Lieutenant, you must have had enough experience to think of that might warn them off.
Sorry,
You broke up completely all the way through that, Andy.
Thing that might just spook them enough. All right. Sorry. Am I back?
Yeah, start again.
Back now.
Lieutenant.
Yeah, obviously, your Wi-Fi doesn't want the lieutenant to find out what's
idea of the way crooked cop think.
No, Andy, we're getting about 1 in 8 words.
Yeah. Okay. Well, bearing in mind that the internet has given up on us, and it's Andy, we can't hear you. You just keep dropping out.
Does someone else want to have a go?
No. Yeah. I'm thinking, so maybe if we caught Captain Robson in the process of accepting bribe protection money, would that go some way to help? Saw someone last night exiting, putting an envelope into his jacket. Excuse me, I know we're reaching here, but I'm wondering if that was Robson.
Right. If
his ill-gotten gains.
I need. This is putting my career on the line, and I'm willing to do that, but I need evidence. I need something concrete.
Well, we don't know how often Robson collects his money, or even whether if he's got men working for him, why would he go there on his own? That's a risk.
He won't. He'll send one of his men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
That
what
wasn't gonna-
what are you expecting to find in this JuJu house anyway?
Well, we know that there are a death cult. The people that are committing these murders are doing it for ritual reasons. We believe that there is evidence in there that they are part of a cult, including weapons that are similar to the ones that we used to kill Jackson. We're hoping that there's additional evidence which will tie them to the other murders as well.
And the headdresses as well.
Well, you found one of those headdresses.
Well, we observed.
Saw it in there.
You got any
Yeah.
photos?
No.
He looks really no.
Well, that would be the obvious thing to do then, wouldn't it? He said, smacking his head against the wall. Go back and take a photograph through the hole in the wall.
In the daytime when the proprietor is downstairs.
Yeah.
Look, I want to help you. I really do, but I can't put my.
Would photographs of that be enough evidence?
If you can get me some evidence that I can then justify some sort of operation that wouldn't involve Robson. If you can get me something, I will come with you, and I'll bring a couple of my best men. We'll do it unofficial, but I'll need something to fall back on as to why I did that.
Okay. We will bring that to you. We'll be back.
Yeah, I know you will. Have a good day.
We will. Hey, this is the thing. There's no cameras in Dungeons and Dragons, so we forget that they exist.
Oh dear. There's also no internet in Norfolk either. What's that?
I keep watching the little icons at the moment. Oh, gone.
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
It only cuts out when you've got something important to say, Andy.
It does seem to be the case.
It's spooky. It's genuinely spooky.
I was going to suggest whether he wants to circulate a false rumor around the precinct that the feds are interested in the premises as a way of keeping the cops away for a while, but I didn't get the chance.
That would be quite a good idea.
Well, let's go take some photographs.
Yeah.
And just it's really useful for the rest of the entire adventure that cameras exist.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to write that down in my note. Cameras are a thing.
Put that on a post-it note on my screen.
I think that's got a bit. Cameras are a thing. Has to be the title of today's episode.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh dear. Righty-ho. Okay. So
excellent.
You probably made more progress in the last 3 minutes of the session than you did in previous.
That was a poor.
Harsh. Well, we didn't get killed.
I don't think it was appalling. I think that this is what Cthulhu's all about. It should be like this.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't just, I mean, in D&D you just steamed in about 5 sessions ago.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, yeah. I mean, we haven't killed anybody. The automatic assumption that we're going to go in guns blazing.
Yeah, any of those characters would have been straight through the door.
Yeah.
After 2 minutes of us fanning it around.
Well, I was quite pleased that I got my blackjack out rather than a gun.
I know it can be frustrating, but I think they kind of, when you actually do, it's that kind of feeling you get stymied for about 2 or 3 sessions, and you suddenly, get move on and think, that's really feels really good that we actually got past that bit.
Yeah, without everything going nuclear, which is the reason why we're not going to get through 16 characters in the first 10 sessions.
Yeah, exactly.
Or destroy all the evidence, or get ourselves put in prison, or just basically screw the entire adventure.
Yeah, Lex just sat in the car, drove the car, and then went to sleep. That was what he did today.
I let down some tires.
Yeah, I think that was
rock and roll.
That's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Well, we could see some dice rolling, so you were obviously doing something. Yeah.
Most of them were failing spot hidden rolls.
Yeah,
really
not spotting most of the time. Yeah.
It's been like my not listening.
Yeah.
Righty-ho. Okay, well, I'm hoping that you enjoyed it, even though it was probably quite.
No, it was good. It's always entertaining.
Yeah.
I think maybe in future though we need to put the people who are better at listening and spotting in the listening and spotting roles.
Yeah.
Well, normally I'm quite good at listening.
I don't think Lex would profess to be good at spotting, though. To be honest.
Not a strong point.
But I'm good at bleeding in a car, which is what I was doing mostly this session.
Thank you for listening. We're sure the JuJu House has the answers. Turns out we might not be entirely sure what all the questions are. Please come back next week. Steady Roll Man presents Last Nyarlathotep.